Hello everyone, this is General Hand Grenade. Welcome to my war room in Prince George, British Columbia. Well, a couple of weeks ago I told you about something that was coming soon, and it has finally arrived. Take a look. You see, I told you there was 49 complexes in a set, but there are actually 48 complexes, and this is the set for Global 40. Now you shouldn't need any more than those. And you can see there's a Chinese roundel and a Union Jack and the Anzac and the France roundel as well. So the new roundel, or sorry, not roundels, the new coasters are in. So let's take a look and see what they look like on the board here. It's great that they're all the right color. Like here, the American one is it's not the same color as mine because I've painted my pieces, right? Your pieces will be this color here. But there's a minor there, and of course when you upgrade to a major, then this one goes on, right? So you just put that one in there. Right, so let's lay that one on. Okay, and then you got the Japanese one in there. And the Americans, they come with 3 majors because there's no way you could possibly put more than 3 majors on, right? And then they come with 6 minors. And the reason I included 6 minors is because the Americans have the most amount of money, and so depending on what happens, they could be taking over other people's complexes, like the French complexes, and building their own as well. So here you see there's the Anzac one. And again, I painted my Anzac pieces, but this you will notice is the color of the Anzac. I included 3 of those because you could it's not unpopular to put one in Queensland as well, right? And then the odd game, you might also put one up here, in the Middle East, or perhaps you take over one of the Japanese complexes or something, right? But that's if Anzac's having a really good game. I tried to make it so there was different ways that you might play the game. So you could take these Anzac guys up here and build a complex in Iraq or Persia or something like that, right? That's my friend Sireblood there. That's his Anzac Express strategy. So I included 3 of those miners, and the British ones here. So there's the British complexes. There's 2 majors. One for Calcutta and one for India. And I know, you could put a major over here, but you know what? If you're doing so well that you can afford to put a major over there, then the game is probably just about over. So I didn't include a 3rd major British complex. That's the only place on the board you could have possibly put a 3rd British major complex. And like I said, if you're gotten to the point where you can put a major there, then it's time for the Axis to surrender probably. And if you really want to put one on there, then you can grab somebody else's major complex and put it on there for that purpose. The Russians, they've got their regular complexes there, they've got their major, and then they've got their minors up on Leningrad and on Ukraine and on Stalingrad there. Again, painted my Russian pieces. They don't look exactly the same, but that will look even closer to your out-of-box Russians. I've only included 1 extra minor complex with the Russians because the Russians are probably going to be on defense, and they might take over one German territory, right? One German complex. Like maybe they take Berlin. But again, if the Russians have more complexes on the board than that, then it's just about time for the Axis to start surrendering. Like I don't see the Russians taking needing 2 extra minor complexes. And again, you can put use an Italian one or something if you want, like one of their minors, if it gets to that point. And speaking of the Italians, here they are. So you've got the minor one down here, and I didn't include 2 majors, even though you could possibly put a major on here. I've never seen anybody put a major down there because the Italians don't get that much money, right? They only get $10, and if they are collecting a lot of money, which Italy can do, but if that's the case, then they're probably going to be building complexes, down here or over here. You know what I mean? They're not going to be placing a major up there and then just piling units in there. They've already got a major on northern Italy. they're not going to start piling 20 dudes a turn on the Italian peninsula. They're going to spread them out. And so to do that, they also have 4 extra minor complexes, right? So like they might take over 2 French complexes or something. So there's 2 there. And then that leaves them with 2 more complexes. So, you know, they might take over the Ukraine complex, or they might have one in Cairo or in the Middle East, or both places. So you should have enough Italian complexes there. And there's the other British major up there. And of course we got the miners here and down here. And this guy, he's drunk and he's fallen down. So with the British, aside from what you've got on the board, there are 3 minor complexes. So like you probably won't have any over there, although you might take out a Japanese complex on the mainland, but I don't see you building one in the Pacific with the amount of money that the FEC gets over there. I don't. You might take one out over there, but 2 extra complexes over here, or 3 extra complexes over here is probably plenty. Like say you put one in Egypt, maybe one in the Middle East, and taking over 1 French one. You know, that would be 3. Okay, Germany has their 2 majors in there. You see one down in Berlin over there, and you see the other one over just behind the guy in Switzerland there. The black ones are a little harder to see, aren't they? But they come with 6 extras, 6 extra minor complexes, because there's lots that they can take out, right? Like they could possibly take 3 of those French ones. They could take 4 Russian ones. I don't think they're going to take all 3 French and all 4 Russian ones. And also there's the one up there too that they could possibly take out as well. But I think that 6 is going to do you. Once again, if you're placing more than 6 minor complexes on for the Germans, then the game is probably, you're probably looking at the Allies surrendering at that point. Plus there is also 1 extra major German complex. So you get 3 of them, because there are a few territories. I mean, it's not likely, but you could place it in Norway. But I've seen people place them down here in Romania. So that gives you the option of doing that with that extra major down there. And there you see, I put a minor and a major over there, although you're not going to see that, right? It's either going to be 3 minors or 3 majors. So you're replacing those as soon as the Americans go to war. And the French have their blue complexes here. And then here, let me just show you how that works then. So America comes down, first thing they do is take out Paris. So you take out all that crap. Everybody dies. Takes a while, doesn't it? And then you tip that complex off. You put the there you go. You put the German minor complex on there, and then it's up to the French resistance after that, right? Like the French aren't going to put up much of a fight, but the French resistance certainly put up a good fight. That's I was thinking about that. I've been doing some work lately on a project that I'm working on for a customization, and it has to do with spies and stuff, and it's just fascinating. I find, like, my favorite World War II movies are the ones that involve the espionage aspect of it. And I came across one story there, and it was this one-legged woman. She was an American woman, and she got dropped into France. Like, first of all, the reason she lost her leg, she was going to be a diplomat. So when she was stationed in Warsaw, Poland as a diplomat, just in a minor role because she was just young at the time, she had a hunting accident down in Turkey. She shot her left leg, and so it had to be amputated from the knee down. And so I know it's not funny, but anyway, she had a wooden leg, and she gave it a name too, right? And anyway, so when the war started, she had, because she was going to be a foreign diplomat, she learned all kinds of languages and everything. And she was in Europe when it started. So she escaped out to Britain, where they trained her to be a spy, and then she went back to France. And just an amazing story. She was a radio operator in central France, and she dressed herself as an elderly milkmaid. She dyed her hair gray and she shuffled her feet to hide her limp. She wore full skirts to make it look like she was heavier than what she was. Anyway, when she coordinated parachute drops and arms and supplies for the resistance groups. She reported the German troop movements. She kept on the move all the time, camping out in barns and attics. She avoided the Germans. They're trying to track her radio signals, but she was really good. Like, she was just unbelievable. So she just kept one step ahead of them. And when D-Day was coming up, she trained 3 battalions of French resistance fighters for sabotage missions. Her battalions there, they destroyed four bridges. They derailed 4 freight trains. They severed a whole bunch of rail lines, down the telephone lines, and they killed at least 150 Germans and captured 500 more. Eventually, the Germans caught on to her, and she knew that. She knew that they caught on to her, so she had to make her way to Spain. She had to walk to Spain, and we're talking about a one-legged woman here, with a wooden leg. She had to walk from France all the way down to Spain there, where they grabbed her and threw her in jail. And then, so she gave a note to somebody who smuggled it to the British, and then the British came down and got her out, right? But anyway, just an amazing story, like some of the stories that I've been reading about. So that's really cool. But I get sidetracked easily, don't I? And that's why my videos go on so long. Anyway, so getting back to these complexes, I think I've showed you all the complexes that you get there. It's 48. I had told you 49, but I had made a typo and when I sent Doug the list of complexes, and I had 3 Japanese majors. And there's no way you could possibly put 3 Japanese majors on the board. There's only 2 places you could possibly put them. You could put one in Japan, and of course you could put one in Korea. There's no other place that you could possibly put a Japanese major. So there's you get 2 Japanese majors, and you get what is it here? 1, 2, 4 minor complexes, and that should be enough. Again, if you're using more than 4, then it's probably time for the other guys to quit, right? You take over Calcutta, that's 1. Maybe you got 3 on the coast, that's 4. Well, then after that, if you took this one, then it's game over, really, right? So 4 should be plenty. And again, like I said, if you need more than that, then you could always, you could use somebody else's complex in the meantime. But that's very seldom going to happen, that you might need a complex that isn't already included in the game. I would use the Anzac one because, it's great. It looks like a stock complex, right? So there you go. There's the complexes that I had promised to bring you, and the good people at Historical Board Gaming, Doug, has put out. Now this set of 48 complexes is $24.95, and that's a good price, I think, because you're getting really quality complexes here. They're not just the ones that you got out of box. And other than buying them in this set, I think that they're going to sell them individually. Now, when he says individually, I assume that means either one at a time or in groups of 5, like they like to sell things there. You notice that a lot of their units are in groups of 5. Anyway, you'll be able to buy them individually as well, like that, not just in a set like this. So if you are into Global War, I haven't played Global War, so I don't know if you need more than that. Certainly, though, this would be a good set to buy if you were playing that game, and if it took more than that, then you could also buy some individually, right? So, moving on to our next thing over here. I guess you probably know what this is all about here. Now, Doug was kind enough to send me 2 sets of complexes. One was for me, and the other one was for one of you. One lucky winner. Not only that, but he also sent 2 full sets of coasters. So what you see here, the coasters and all the complexes that I just discussed, all 48 of them, they will be yours if you answer the question that I ask. And we're going to do it like last time, where I will make a post when this video, by the time this video is uploaded, I will make a post in that same thread called What's New at Historical Board Gaming in the Marketplace section of accessandallies.org. I'm not going to ask the question there just like last time. I'm going to ask the question here, and then the first person who gets the answer correctly will get all of these things. And if I don't answer back right away, if you read an answer there and you think that's the wrong one, then go ahead and put another answer. But I am working night shift right now, so it's possible that I could be working while you're answering the question, and so that's why I didn't get back to you. So go ahead and write the answer. And I do believe that's it. So what is the question? Let's just set this down. Well, I like to ramble, and I told a little story earlier about a woman in World War II. So this is a two-part question. Number one, what was the woman's name? And you have to spell it correctly. And number two, what was the name that she gave to her wooden leg? Good luck, everyone. Hopefully I'll be sending this awesome prize to you. Take care. This is General Hand Grenade out.